all is now set for the Kwazulu-Natal ANC elective conference, which will take place this weekend. The conference is slated for July 22 to 24. The party had a Provincial Executive Committee in Durban on Monday ahead of the conference next weekend. The battle for ANC Kwazulu-Natal chairperson is likely to be a two-way contest between sitting chairperson and Premier Sihle Zikalala and senior party MP Siboniso Duma, with any challenger needing to be nominated from the floor. Premier Sihle Zikalala is seeking re-election.
The acting Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade Premier Sihle Zikalala, we were informed by the SGO that he's the one who's going to officially open the conference tomorrow. We are working very hard to ensure that the conference begins at 10 o'clock. That if we are late, at least we should start at 11 o'clock latest. The reason why we think and believe that is possible is because the setup we've made for registration allows that within a space of 2 hours, we have the capability to process at least up to 1,000, minimum of 1,000 delegates. That is why we say if comrades arrive at 9, at 7 o'clock as we've indicated, by 9 o'clock they will all be registered.
To help us understand the latest events is Political Analyst Sisi Duma. She joins us from Durban, South Africa. Many thanks for joining us on NC Continental Prime. The ANC...
Thank you for having me, Felicity.
Good to have you on the news. The ANC KZN conference starts tomorrow, and it seems to hold a significant amount of weight in the country's politics. Kindly shed light on this.
Okay. The ANC KZN provincial conference holds this weight because KwaZulu-Natal is one of the largest ANC strongholds, so to speak, and it contains the most amount of ANC voting delegates, meaning whatever decision is made in KZN, it holds a very big weight in the determination of the president of the country in the December 2022 conference that is coming up in a few months' time.
The province has seen unrest in recent months, partially because of their disapproval of the current leadership. Do you think this will affect the way people vote in this conference?
Yes. No, the short answer. The long answer is KwaZulu-Natal is the home of former President Jacob Zuma, and you'll remember that his arrest a year ago actually led to the biggest unrest in the country since democratic South Africa, which is 1994. So he has a huge following, and that following does not necessarily see eye to eye with the current leadership. So I believe that from just the events of his arrest alone, there's a lot of disgruntled ANC members who will essentially show their anger in the way that they vote in this particular conference. So yes, emotions are high.
Mr. Zikalala is seeking re-election. What are his chances in this time around, and who do you think will stand as the strongest opposition?
This is a very difficult conference to predict, simply because you did mention earlier that some candidates will be nominated from the floor. So that means that anybody can be raised tomorrow from the floor, and anybody can come in and swoop in and take it all. But as it stands now, there are 4 major names, which is very, by the way, not common to have 4 major names at the top of the table. It is Sihle Zikalala, it is Duma, it is soccer boss Sandile Zungu, and a female candidate, Nomusa Dube, who is also going to be a bit of a game changer if she does come.
What would the change of leadership in the ANC mean for South Africa as a whole?
Okay, as I mentioned, there's a female candidate, and we've never had a female sit at the helm of ANC KZN chair. This is simply because of cultural reasons, we'll say patriarchal reasons. So if she does rise to the top, this would make a big change in just the entire political climate of the country to see women at the helm of leadership. Secondly, if Zikalala does come back, that might also trigger people who are not happy with this current leadership to seek other parties, and it might see the ANC taking a hit votes-wise going into the December conference and going ultimately into the 2024 national elections. So there's a lot at stake here, and any change in leadership will result directly in a change in the possibilities of the new president that will come in 2024.
Tell us about the build-up to this conference. Are there any incidents that stood out for you that you think might play a role on those days?
I mean, politics will always be politics. There's obviously scandals here and there. There will be a few incidents of corruption coming out about this candidate suddenly now, and this candidate suddenly now, just for their campaign to take a bit of a knock. Nomusa Dube was recently approached by law enforcement regarding a particular scandal, which she has not confirmed yet, so I cannot speak on it just yet, but she did confirm that law enforcement has approached her to discuss it, and it was leaked that her competitors took this scandal to law enforcement. So just in terms of to hit her, And then Sihle Zikalala as well, he said a few interesting things last year during the unrest. There was an incident where he physically hit a looter on air, or who was stealing during the July unrest, so they're bringing that up again. So there's this dirty political tricks that they're playing on each other, but ultimately it's not denting anyone's campaign at all, because we can all see right through it. So everybody is really pushing forward. At the end of the day, it'll be their content that takes them to the top.
Thank you very much, Sisi Duma, for speaking with us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.